Hi there and welcome back to Vietnam, where we're temporarily based for a little while I get back to my new home in Japan. But until then, we're checking out a album listen through of New Beginning by BAND-MAID, and we're now through to track 5, Arcadia Girl. Now this album so far has been hard all the way, which has made it an interesting contrast to their first album, which was the actually I really enjoyed it. Apparently a lot of fans are not so much in it to it, but Made in Japan, which I thought was a really good balance between a few hard tracks, a few medium tracks, and some pop rock stuff as well, which I thought was a really nice demonstration of the variation they had. Although that was an album that didn't show as much their musical skill that we now know them for more recently, and obviously both of these albums are staff written, which means that it doesn't show their own personal writing flair. However, this one seems to be going for, like I say, that hard, taking them more in the approach that they are now more familiar with, although still sounding quite different from certainly the most recent albums like World Domination. Anyway, enough of me waffling, let's get straight on with it, because I'm hoping you guys have been following all these reactions before anyway, and if you haven't, you can go back and check them all. Like I say, in the description below there's a playlist for our entire listen through. You can go video by video through and see what I thought of every single track. But here we are on track number 5. This is Arcadia Girl. Let's check it out and see where they go on this one. Is it going to be more heavy? I think probably yes. Yeah. Oh, like that. It's funky. That's a cool little Casio thing in the left of the earphones there. It's a great tense build up. I really hope it pays off. Those synth strings are brilliant as well, almost like an orchestral build up. That's an awesome bass line as well, isn't it? Interesting choice to do a key change for the chorus there. I know it's popular in Japanese music, but it seems a bit strange in this one. Let's see if it gets more familiar sounding as we go through. Yeah, that chorus is starting to build on me, starting to grow on me. Oh, nice build up, good sung bridge. Yeah, that's good, that's good. Yeah, this chorus is a quick grower, Nice little change up on the drums. That's a cool way to play it out. Are they going to go for a sudden ending? How are they going to wrap this one up? Yeah, nice. I was hoping for a sudden ending on that. It kind of just seemed like that was the best direction for it to head in. Yeah, actually, you know what? I really like that. I thought that was brilliant. The way it came in very heavy production, but I actually kind of think that worked because the initial feeling was that they were trying to build up this tension, and the tension was important for the overall payoff of the song because there isn't anything too complicated happening in this song. So having that tension at the beginning, building it up softly, having things come in, like when the bass comes in, it's just kind of repeating the riff you're already hearing, but it's doing brilliantly as well. And what a fantastic riff that is as well. It's really sort of quick moving and sort of keeps you thinking. I really liked the way this came in. I thought the production was well handled. I mean, it's not like sometimes you get a very production heavy intro and you can kind of hear that point where the production ends and the full band stuff begins, and it kind of feels like two separate things, whereas this was really good because the production was quite heavy and yet used very delicately and very subtly, and as it sort of slipped into the background and slipped away and we went over to a sort of more normal rock song, you didn't really feel it fall off. So that was a really good touch that I really enjoyed about that. I thought that was a very nice decision there. Now, like I say, that first verse really built up. The only thing I wasn't too sure about is before the first chorus came in, it dropped. You were building up the tension, the sort of really cheesy sounding, I must admit, synth strings that were going on. That was a nice choice. However, the fact that was building up as well, and it's giving this real sort of tension, boom, boom, boom. But then before the first chorus, the pre-chorus went down into a quieter place. I think that was a little bit of a bad decision to let the tension drop off before the first chorus actually came in. However, that's a minor detail. It's just the tension was building up so well that I think they could have gone straight into the chorus or had a slightly more tense pre-chorus. Because like I said, the first time that I heard the chorus, it kind of felt a little bit jarred, like I'd been taken from his tensions building up to, oh, here's a quiet bit, and then, oh, here's a key change in the chorus. Kind of felt a little bit jarring, like that didn't flow so well, but that was more than made up for by the rest of the song. That's one of those things where on first listen, it's certainly more disturbing than it would be on repeat listens, because on repeat listens, you'd kind of know that was coming and you'd be easier to sort of be mentally prepared for it, I guess you could say. Not that I was making it sound like something traumatic, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that was good. Then the first chorus, like I say, okay, this is not too bad, but I was wrestling to kind of work out how the song really pieced together. Then you had that second verse, and that everything from there kind of flowed better, and you built up to a really good final chorus, a final crescendo. The bridge was brilliant. I like how it started with a sound bridge. I know that BAND-MAID have done this before, but this is a really good example of them doing it right, when you have a song bridge which kind of builds up a sort of a different atmosphere. Again, a bit of a tension, but in a very different way, and then it sort of plays you out into a solo. And the solo was nice. It wasn't too heavy, it wasn't too in your face. It was just enough to get you ready. Because sometimes if a solo is too heavy, then it actually detracts from the impact again of the last chorus. And if you're going to do a song which has your sort of traditional three choruses, you have to have the choruses have the right impact when they come in. So yeah, like I say, the crescendo at the end was brilliant as well. Now the hook itself, I just wanted to have a quick word about that, because sometimes I talk about the melodic complexity of things and the rhythmic complexity, and I appreciate that in a lot of ways this particular chorus is perhaps technically not that good or that interesting, and that rhythmically there's not a lot going on. It's very simple rhythmically, it's very simple melodically as well. I think the reason it works is because as a contrast to the rest of the song, it sort of suddenly starts speeding things up. You know, it's much more sort of quicker delivery. And then the chord pattern, if you listen to the chord pattern happening in the chorus, that again, it feels like that's designed to build tension. It's sort of building you up, taking you in that direction. So this sort of quick vocal and a sort of a building chord pattern, you feel like there's an urgency to the chorus, and that's actually played out really well by the drums. Now, the interesting thing that separates this from Price of Pride, which we heard before, Price of Pride, I thought Arcadia did some fantastic stuff with the drum work, but interestingly enough, there were some moments where it went a bit of four on the floor. We had a sort of disco boom, 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 kick drum every time sort of beat. And when you have that, it makes things sound very rooted. And yes, okay, it makes it sound more headbangy and more dancey, but it makes everything sound quite safe, if you know what I mean. If you listen to the chorus in this, just as the sort of tension, you've got quite a tense chorus in this, you know, it feels like it's building up to something, even in the hook. The drum beat, if you listen to it, it's quite complicated. Everything's sort of bouncing around. There's a lot of syncopation. It doesn't get in a very settled place. You don't feel like you're falling into a So whereas Price of Pride played its trick more by changing the way the beat actually was, this one just had a beat that sounded more unsettled, more sort of caged, ready to go sort of sound. So everything about this song has a sort of a built-up tension to it, which I really like, and it's got enough payoff. Like I say, the bits in between the choruses are not hard enough or heavy enough to detract from the impact of the chorus. Each time the chorus comes in, even though in itself it feels like it's building to something, it also feels like a worthy payoff and reward to what came prior to it. So this song, I can understand why this would not be considered a single. It's maybe not overtly the catchiest song you've ever heard, but when it comes to actual musical effectiveness, I think this is really good, and I would probably actually argue that thus far this is my favourite song I've heard on this album. Now, Thrill is a very catchy song, and I would say that definitely the most catchy song that I know of so far, because I've heard the last two tracks as well on this album prior, and if you're watching the playlist, obviously when you get to those two, just like with Thrill and Real Existence, you'll be seeing reviews that I've done prior to this album listen through. But Don't Let Me Down, I know is an extremely catchy song, probably, arguably BAND-MAID's most catchy, if not up there. So that's a song I really love for its catchiness. This song I just love for its tension and its mood. Therefore, it'd be really interesting at the end of this to really try and think, which one do I prefer, Arcadia Girl or Don't Let Me Down? Or am I going to be surprised by Don't Apply the Brake or Beauty and the Beast? Are they going to sort of pop up and become even better? So the whole tone of the album so far is that sort of really go hard style, but nothing wrong with that because they're keeping it musically interesting. And this is a much shorter album than World Domination, which, like I say, that was a brilliant album on a song-by-song basis, but it did start to grate just by the fact that it didn't ever let up enough to give you a sense of variation. That was its only real downside. Anyway, enough for me waffling. We're going to be moving on to the next song, Don't Apply the Brake, next. Like I say, if you're watching in the playlist, that will be coming up straight after this video. If not, you can feel free to join the playlist and watch all of the songs that I've covered of this album, which is in the link to that is in the description below, along with links to our Discord and Reddit if you want to get further involved in the conversation. Tell us what you think. Obviously, this channel's all about subjective opinions. Give us your opinions, tell us what you think, suggest what you want us to look at next. Obviously, we've also got our Facebook and our Twitter if you want to stay up to date with some more notifications there. And our Patreon if you like what we do and you want to get really nice and supportive, because we don't make any money from doing this channel after all, but we'll give you some perks if you go on there. Anyway, for now, from Vietnam, not Japan. I'm still in the habit of saying Japan, but we'll be back in Japan soon, then I'll have to correct myself from saying from Vietnam all the time. For now, ciao ciao.